ain't have nothing to do with me nor Kirk. Them bitches was coming at you about your because they had too much ammo for you.
Don't act like you didn't say that.
I wasn't there. And I damn sure ain't gonna come to somebody about they on some hay.
A storm was building beneath the surface of what was intended to be a typical taping of the famous reality show, and the tension in the room was evident. The team was there, the lights were bright, and the cameras were rolling. Everything surrounding Yandy and Rasheeda, however, appeared to dissolve into the background. There were only the two of them engaged in a long-awaited combat. Although Yandy had always been a strong woman, the gravity of the situation tonight made her feel as though she could lose her cool. The drama between them had always revolved around B, but it had never been this intense or intimate. And now that it was all being recorded on video, it felt like it was coming apart. For years, Rasheeda had been a constant in Yandy's life as a confidant and friend. However, their relationship had always been complex when it came to Mendes's. The past between Rasheeda and Mendes's was indisputable. It was an inseparable connection, a shared history that had always simmered beneath the surface. But things started to change after Mendes's started dating Yandy. After first attempting to be encouraging, Rasheeda soon began to doubt Mendes's loyalty and the decisions he was making. And suddenly, the gloves were falling off as the cameras recorded every second. As Rasheeda's comments slashed through the air, Yandy could feel the heat rising in her chest. Their friendship had been characterized by more than simply pleasant banter or typical teasing. This was genuine. Over time, Rasheeda's contempt for Mendes's decisions had intensified, and she was no longer holding back. As though Yandy's friendship with Mendes's was some sort of personal betrayal, every glance and every word felt directed at her. Will you actually sit here and defend him? Disbelief was evident in Rasheeda's voice. You're still going to act like he's your knight in shining armor after everything he's done. Even though Yandy's blood was boiling, she forced herself to remain composed since she knew that now was not the moment to allow her feelings to run amok. However, the pain was present and blazing intensely. Rasheeda had always been ready to blame Mendes's for their issues and to point up his shortcomings. Now, though, it seemed to be an assault on her, as though Rasheeda was doubting her judgment, her decisions, and everything that had brought her this far. She was firm, but her voice trembled with the annoyance she had been suppressing for so long. You're not the one in this relationship. I'm the one who has to deal with his mistakes, his baggage, and his past, so don't sit here and try to act like you know what's best for me. Rasheeda rolled her eyes and scoffed, but Yandy wasn't done yet. She had had enough. Now was not the moment to be cautious, not when her life depended on it. You have been observing from the sidelines, passing judgment on both him and myself. Yandy went on, her voice getting louder by the second. You've always had your opinions, but you've never been in our shoes. You don't know what we've been through, what I've had to forgive, and yet here you are acting like you have all the answers. The air was heavy with unspoken animosity and unsolved problems, and the tension between the two women was electrifying. The competition, the unsaid jealousy, and the way Rasheeda's presence in Mendes's life had always hung over Yandy's relationship with him like a shadow were the fundamental issues that had been simmering for years. It was no longer just about Mendes's. Rasheeda shot back, her eyes narrowing and her face contorted in anger. You believe you're the only one who has had to cope with Mendes's mess. Do you really believe that I have no idea what it's like to be in a relationship with someone who consistently makes mistakes? We've been harmed by him, and I'm sick of you acting as though he's changed. Yandy, you're allowing him to pull you down. Yandy felt the ground shift beneath her as the words struck her like a slap in the face. She wanted to lash out and yell at Rasheeda for all the suffering she had caused. But she refused to let anyone enjoy her breaking because the world was watching and the cameras were on them. On the inside, though, everything seemed to be collapsing. Rasheeda's persistent meddling in the turmoil that had always accompanied them, Mendes's errors, it was all too much. It felt like the dam was about to explode tonight, despite Yandy's best efforts to keep it together. As their argument heated up, accusations flew and voices rose. Standing in the background, unsure of how to step in, the crew realized they were watching the disintegration of something far more significant than a simple rivalry between two women, a relationship, a struggle for authority, and a struggle for respect that had been developing for years. The dispute ultimately lacked a definitive conclusion. Yandy stormed off, fatigued and angry. As the cameras continued to record the consequences, Rasheeda's rage boiled beneath the surface. The real fight, however, had only just begun for Yandy. Finding a method to deal with the chaos that had become her life and determining if she could ever trust anyone again, even herself, were more important concerns than Mendes's or Rasheeda. It appears like Yandy's fight to keep her family together may have been lost. Rumor has it that Mendes's has now returned to his true love, Erica, because he is tired of referring to her as his wife. Others are even speculating that they may already be married. Honestly, this is becoming a really sticky scenario. In addition to criticizing Mendes's for offending her, Yandy is also giving Erica a strong warning to break up with her partner or face consequences when they next meet. It is well known that Yandy's pride is the only thing holding her in this marriage. And now that Mendes's has moved in with Erica, it appears Yandy has lost all self-control. If you haven't figured this out yet, please have a seat and allow me to explain. May Amos. Earlier this year, Mendes's was released from prison following his incarceration on drug-related crimes. Yandy stood strong and managed everything by herself while he was in prison, doing everything she could to keep the family together. We all believed that after all the effort and sacrifice Yandy made while Mendes's was imprisoned, she would finally be able to enjoy her marriage now that he was back. She went to therapy to work out the problems in their marriage because she was desperate to keep it together. But as they say, once a cheater, always a cheater. Mendes's chose to focus on Yandy's fiercest rival, Erica, rather than loyally repaying Yandy for keeping the family together. In case you missed it, Mendes's has failed to establish limits with Erica, which is the obvious reason why the two have been at odds for years. If you have been following the Mendes's, Erica, and Yandy love triangle, you have undoubtedly seen Yandy's constant denial regarding her marital status. She believes she is the only woman in Mendes's life because of her ego and conceit, even though she knows in her heart that he is still seeing Erica and hasn't been completely honest with her. She is skilled at seeming as though everything is ideal, but we are all aware that things aren't always as they seem. In reality, Erica and Mendes's had been together for a long time before Yandy entered the picture. Samantha disclosed that Erica was one of the few women Mendes's actually loved, demonstrating how deeply he feels for his first baby mama. According to Erica, she and Mendes's used to live together. They took vacations, lived together, had passports that matched, and even got to meet his whole family. She was so devoted to him that she even assisted in raising his first child while Samantha was away. But Mendes's needed someone with stability and a clear future plan when things weren't going well. He met Yandy at that point, and they were married. Mendes's continued to communicate with Erica even after he married Yandy. Sources claim that Mendes's has broken up with Yandy, moved out of their house, and moved in with Erica in order to resume their relationship now that he is free from prison and has a stable income. Since Yandy held Mendes's down, resolved all of his problems, and got herself involved in baby mama drama that she shouldn't have, I don't think she deserves the treatment she's receiving from Mendes's. She also had to put up with Mendes's mother's contempt and put in a lot of effort to raise his kids, only for him to reveal that he was married for duty rather than love. He'd freely acknowledged that he never would have stood by her side or kept the family together the way she did for him if their roles had been reversed. He responded, "That has nothing to do with me, nor with them. Yet they were pursuing you because they had too much ammunition for you." Don't pretend that I didn't mention that I wasn't present and that I absolutely didn't intend to confront someone about their hair.
You didn't say that.
I wasn't there. And I damn sure ain't gonna come to somebody about they on some hair.